Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Thank you for meeting with me again. Just as promised from last week, I wanted to talk about the first time I saw myself in a different body. As I explored moments of stillness with meditation, I noticed that sometimes it came with visuals in my mind. Not always, but sometimes if I hit the right level of calmness, or I suppose the correct word is frequency, I would see moving visuals that for me needed more interpretation as they stood for something. They also left me with more questions that longed for more answers. One day, I remember being a bit stressed, so I decided to take a nap because I figured that was what I needed to clear my mind. I laid across the foot of my bed on top of my bedding and started to just visualize my chakras becoming engaged one by one as I thought about where their locations were in my body. It was just a simple practice. I had no intentions of really meditating. I just wanted to focus on something other than what I was at that moment. I still do this from time to time. Again, this was just an exercise to get used to their name and placements. I figured it was an easy way to focus my attention and slow down my rapid thoughts. I began to slowly focus on each one from the bottom up. I went up from the base of my spine chakra, imagining it lighting up with activation. Then I moved on to the seat of the soul chakra, then my solar plexus, still imagining the first two lit up with an imaginary line of connection to the rest as I went along. I continued this activity and was now focused up to my heart chakra, my throat chakra, my third eye chakra, and then finally my crown chakra was lit up. The moment I got to the crown chakra, I saw myself in a body I did not recognize. I was also in a location I did not recognize. Apparently, instead of lying across my bed, I was now staring down at my two hands and wrists. This body was very different. It was completely black and seemingly quasi physical, meaning I could almost see through it, kind of like a thick, viscous substance, but I was solid. It's very hard to describe, but perhaps they were gloves from a suit I had on, but still the material was odd. I could not quite see through it. Maybe it was gelatin. I really don't know, but it was unlike the human body that I'm in now. That would be my best description that comes to mind as a reference for how translucent it appeared to be, like a gelatinous substance. Very strange. But what really was interesting to me is I had on what I would describe as large cuffs on each wrist, um, more so long. The length of them were from my wrists to halfway down to my elbows. The cuffs were black, and they were made up of rows with characters that I could not understand, as they were not alphabet letters or shapes that I am familiar with. They were weird shapes I cannot correlate to any known shapes I have ever seen before. These odd characters were lighting up and dimming in what seemed to me to be in a randomized way. They were backlit in a fluorescent blue light, a lot like those gaming keyboards to help you visualize what I saw. The gaming keyboards that people can play in the dark but can still see what they're typing, kind of backlit fluorescent light, um, or LED lighting, if that helps. Of course, I had no way of understanding the information on them, but it was fascinating, so fascinating to watch them as they were lighting up in different places um, along my wrists. This is the first time I saw myself in a different body completely. Like it was first person point of view. I was in this vessel, but I had no clue where I was or what I was looking at. I just knew um, it felt like a very realistic video game, which is really what life is, but it felt like I was player one and I had no idea, what the structure of the game was, of this reality, right? I was by myself in a place that was completely foreign. It was dark all around me. So, as we would describe it, as nighttime. But the only figure I could see was my own hands. So I still had five digits on each hand, arms, and then these very, very cool looking cuffed bracelets. They looked, it's funny, but they looked expensive, right? They looked like technology that I have yet to see a person wearing, right? It's very, very um, cool. And gosh, I wish I knew what I was looking at, but it was on me and it was giving me information that as Dawn in this body could not readily describe the importance of. So a few nights later, as I thought about what I saw, I was immediately washed over with feelings of warmth and love. I was in love and felt loved at the same time. This feeling is so great that it is akin to being washed in a wave of unending love and serenity. Just thinking about what I had experienced filled me with so much joy and um, tangible feelings of love and peace. This feeling I can only describe as a place of awareness, a focus so deep that it is the only thing in the universe that not only matters, but is also therapeutic, thus healing and transformative. For me, all things ran together at this one point of recollection when I thought about it a few days later. Is this what singularity is? What was my life in that body? What am I doing? What is my job? What is the importance of that time? I don't know. I'm still wondering and I'm still discovering. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Until next time, where I talk about next week, the first time I saw myself uh, as a celestial body. That was very, very cool. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.